Good morning and welcome to the Vicenza Military Community's Information Exchange, known as the InfoX. InfoX is streamed live on the World Wide Web. You can find the link on our webpage, usag.vicenza.army.mil. The link is also going to be hosting the site through the page and on livestream.com. Viewers may address questions to this forum by going to the Vicenza Military Community Facebook page at VMC Italy. Viewers can also reach our Facebook page from the Garrison homepage. As always, everyone here in the VMC is invited to attend in person at the arena on Caserma, Italy. For those here in the arena with us, just a reminder to please use the microphone provided during our program so our broadcaster audience can also hear your questions and comments. Please note that in this forum we do not address personal matters of a legal or medical nature, issues that can be addressed through the chain of command, or issues submitted using inflammatory or derogatory language. We'll begin with a welcome from our garrison commander, Colonel Robert Menist.
All right, good morning everyone and welcome to our May Info Exchange. A lot of exciting information to be put out today, particularly focused on the upcoming summer transition period. So a lot of information on sponsorship, on in-processing, on the transition from springtime to summer and the air conditioning that comes with that, which is probably near and dear to everyone's heart at this moment. And also I want to give a welcome to everyone that's watching us either online currently or watches the tapes later. If you can't make it here, obviously in person, we welcome your participation online. We do have a posting up on the Facebook page for you to post your questions on Facebook if you're watching from home or the office right now, and I'll periodically refresh the page so that we'll get to your questions as they come in. So with that, we'll go ahead and start.
Okay, thank you, sir. First up, Staff Sergeant Moyage Willoughby Sherrod will help us kick off Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month by reading the Presidential Proclamation.
Good morning. This month, we celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month to be held on the 28th of May at 15:30 in the Golden Lion. Volunteers to plan and participate are encouraged to contact Sergeant First Class Washington, whose information is on the slide. By the President of the United States of America, a proclamation. The rich heritage of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders span the world and the depths of America's history. Generation after generation, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have forged a proud legacy that reflects the spirit of our nation, a country that values the contributions of everyone who calls America home. During Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we honor the perseverance of those who courageously reach for their hopes and dreams in a new land. And we celebrate the important impact the Asian American and Pacific Islander community has made on our nation's progress. From more than 1 million immigrants who journeyed across the Pacific and arrived on Angel Island to the Chinese American laborers who risked their lives to link our coast by rail, the determination of this vibrant community represents the best of our national character. In each chapter of our country's stories, in places like Selma and the great fields of Delano, during the moments where our nation's destiny has been decided, Asian American and Pacific Islanders of all backgrounds have set inspiring examples as leaders and trailblazers, united by a common hope for civil rights, equal treatment, and a better tomorrow for all Americans. Through times of hardship in the face of enduring prejudice, these women and men have persisted and forged ahead to help strengthen our union. Native Hawaiians have fought to protect their treasured traditions, language, and lands. And Asian American and Pacific Islander patriots have defended the beliefs for which we stand. 70 years ago, the United States and our allies secured a lasting peace throughout the Asian Pacific region and much of the world, a victory achieved in part by thousands of Filipino Americans who fought valiantly but were denied compensation, and also by Japanese Americans who served this country even as the freedom of their loved ones was denied. As we commemorate Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we pay tribute to all those in the Asian American and Pacific Islander community who have striven for a brighter future for the next generation. Together, let us recommit to embracing diversity that enriches our nation and to ensuring all our people have equal chance to succeed in the country we love. Now, therefore, I, Barack Obama, President of the United States of America, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the United States, do hereby proclaim May 2015 as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Signed, Barack Obama. At this time, General Williams and Colonel Menace will perform the cake cutting.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now we'll take a moment to recognize our outstanding volunteers for the month of April. I invite Ms. Yvonne Leibel, Army Volunteer Corps Program Manager, to the microphone.
The Vicenza Army Volunteer Corps is pleased to announce the outstanding community volunteers for April. The Youth Outstanding Volunteer for April is Charlene Caldwell. Charlene is a dedicated volunteer for the Red Cross. Her interaction with peers and young children demonstrating a wisdom and maturity beyond her years. Her action and continued involvement demonstrates a dedication to volunteerism that is uncommon and admirable. Charlene has supported events that include Raid, Cross, and the Pillowcase Project, as well as hands-only CPR training, always offering her support. Charlene's efforts of serving as a volunteer have positively impacted the Red Cross Club and as well as the Vicenza military community. Thank you, Charlene. This month, our adult volunteer of the month, Miss G. Young Lean, was not able to attend. Captain McIntosh from JAG is accepting in her place. Ms. Lee is an integral asset to the Vicenza Tax Center and the Office of the Staff Advocate Judge. The staff judge advocate. Ms. Lee's professionalism, work ethic, and positive attitude have made her an invaluable asset to the Vicenza Tax Center. Ms. Lee has personally prepared more than 100 client tax returns and provides clients with a warm welcome, professional service, as well as being a fantastic team member. Ms. Lee has been the subject of many positive client comment cards which demonstrate her positive attitude and dedicated service. As you can see, Ms. Lee's hard work and professionalism is having a significant impact in the community, making tax preparation a painless and efficient process for the community. Thank you, Ms. Lee.
Okay, so this morning we have 9 hot topics focusing mostly on the upcoming PCS season. First up, Vicenza High School Principal David Rudy will talk about the accelerated withdrawal from school due to PCS program.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to share with our community members the requirements to accelerate withdrawal from school due to a PCS move. I think next slide has some of the specific information. So what we allow students to do by regulation, they can withdraw up to 20 days prior to the end of the school year due to a sponsor's PCS. So they need to be in school through the end of the day on May 13th. May 14th is the first day that they're allowed to not attend. So the purpose of the regulation was never for non-PCS needs. So if a family is leaving for any reason other than PCS, unfortunately, they will not be able to accelerate to the end of the school year. So as soon as the sponsor has the orders, please bring them to the office, make an appointment to speak with an administrator, and we can get the acceleration process underway for your child. It is important to note that second to last bullet, I believe, that certainly for high school and for some middle school students, they may be required to take their final exams outside of the instructional day in order for them to receive those credits for those second semester courses. Okay.
All right. Thanks, Principal Rudy.
All right, next up, Bobby Hardaway, the Transportation Officer from the Personal Property Processing Office, has some tips on getting through the peak PCS season.
Again, everyone, my name is Bobby Hardaway, and I'm Transportation Officer for the Personal Property Processing Office located at Building 393, second floor. And what I'm going to talk to you about is peak season, dealing with your household goods, basically your stuff, which is near and dear to you. But what's immensely important is that as soon as you receive a copy of your orders, to contact our office. There where we get the ball rolling of scheduling you to see a counselor to have your property packed and picked up. In addition to that, we're going to be providing you information on how you will go about registering yourself in DPS. It's now a requirement that all DoD civilian and military personnel register themselves in DPS to begin the process of having your property packed and picked up. And you can do that by logging into www.move.mil. And this would take you to a link on that site where you will see before you move. Click on that link and the world of transportation is open to you. Okay? And in addition to that, ensuring that your information is correct on your orders. That is very important because a lot of individuals end up to our office. They have gone through everything, and we have to inform you that your orders are incorrect, meaning name, social security number, or your dependents are not listed when they should be. Additionally, if you receive your orders in adequate time, we like to start the planning process of having your property picked up at least 35 days, for military personnel, at least 35 days from your eval date, which is your availability date, and for civilian personnel, at least 35 days from your reporting date to your next duty station, or if you're retiring. Additionally, no leave forms or clearing papers are required to schedule an appointment to have your property packed and picked up or to see a counselor. That's some information that has been going around, but that's incorrect. Please just, again, as soon as you receive your orders, contact our office and we'll get the ball rolling to have your property packed and picked up. On the slides, you can see some information concerning your weights, and I'm not going to read over that. I just let you review that right now for military personnel and civilian personnel, what your weight entitlements are. Again, we will go over that information with you in detail once you make an appointment with us and we sit down desk side and we explain the entire process to you from beginning to end. Moreover, shipping motorcycles. It is very important that you have a copy of your registration to include title or your registration or bill of sale in order to ship a motorcycle back to the United States. Even if you purchase one over here, normally you will receive a bill of sale from an individual. Please present that to us because we have to insert that information for our booking agent in order to get your motorcycle packed and picked up. Mopeds and motor scooters that's over 50 cc's, the same documentation for a motorcycle is required also. Shipping wine back to the United States, that's a benefit that has been provided to you. It is important that you visit the link that you see on this website. Again, we're going to provide you a packet once you arrive to our office that details everything that you need to do from beginning to end in scheduling wine to be shipped in your house of goods back to the United States. Also shipping a POV. You need to go to we have a pamphlet that we're going to pass out to you also when you arrive to our office, but if you're computer savvy, we're going to provide, and you call our office, we're going to provide you the website that you need to go to in order to schedule a turn-in for your POV. In addition to that, we will also provide the telephone number. If you're shipping a second POV, keep in mind the government is only authorized to ship one POV for you. If you're shipping a second POV, we have additional information for you in order to do that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And just to summarize again, the most important thing, as soon as you get your orders, come see you to start scheduling your transportation. Don't need anything else with that, just your orders. I think we're going to get another brief here immediately with another spot that they'll want you to come immediately as you get your order. So with that lead in.
Thank you, sir. And we spoke about a POV during that briefing. Well, now we have Patrick O'Connor, the manager of the Motor Vehicle Registration Office, to talk about out-processing your POV.
Good morning. I'm Mr. O'Connor. I work at the Vehicle Registration Office here in Vicenza. I'm here this morning to give you a little briefing about what you need to do to prepare yourself, your POV, in order to PCS in an easy, timely manner. Some of this information you're going to see today will also be given to you at your levy briefing. Every Thursday, there's a levy briefing given over to CPF, and we all have slides and presentations that we give at that time. But basically, I'm going to cover the 4 principal ways in which you clear a POV out of here. First way to get your POV out of here is shipping it. Transportation will give you a briefing on shipping your POV, the requirements. One thing you need to remember, in order to ship your POV, you have to have orders. You can show up with a memorandum from your commander, whatever, but the POV shipment point needs orders because they have to fill out the destination requirements, and then they also have to calculate the cost. The second thing, if you need, one of the other things you should do to clear your POV is to sell your POV. Once you put your POV out for sale, you find the buyer who's interested in purchasing it. You, the seller, must get a safety inspection. The safety inspection must be within 30 days of the transfer of ownership between you and the next buyer. The third thing you need to do, if the vehicle is not cost effective for repair, you cannot find a buyer within a reasonable amount of time to be able to clear, then the third option we have is to scrap your POV. In order to scrap your POV, that you come through my office, we will give you the information necessary, the paperwork in which to take out to the local authorized contractor, and I emphasize local authorized contractor. You cannot turn your POV into any local junkyard because our vehicles are under the customs controls and procedures of the host nation government, and our vehicles are accountable for. If you dispose of your vehicle in any other area except the authorized location, you are subject to fines and penalties by the host nation authority. Very important to remember that. Once you go out, you drop the paperwork off of the contractor, then if you drive your vehicle out there, it's free. If you decide you need your vehicle towed out because it's not mechanically effective, the contractor has a means and ways to which to pick your vehicle up. Basically, the Vicenza area, he requires €30 for pickup fee, Suave's €50, and all the way to Brescia is €100. So the pickup fees are very, very reasonable. The fourth option we have, which is in a case-by-case basis and basically on emergency purposes only, is the power of attorney. If you find yourself in a need for whatever reason that your POV cannot be shipped, you cannot sell it for whatever reason, then you can request to do a power of attorney. In order to do a power of attorney, you and the power of attorney holder need to come to the Vehicle Registration Office together. The power of attorney holder needs to be in the system as having a vehicle registered, because what we do is we attach that power of attorney to that person so that if they're PCSing also this summer, we have a tracking method so that they don't leave and leave the vehicle behind. The power of attorney holder that you leave has the same 3 options in which you do. If your vehicle cannot pass for whatever reason to be shipped out of here for leaks, fuel, whatever the problem may be, the power of attorney holder makes the arrangements, gets the vehicle prepared, and ships it for you. Also, the power of attorney holder can sell the vehicle for you in your absence while you're gone. And if necessary, and they're getting caught on time and they need to get out of here too, they also have the authority by you to scrap your POV. Okay, again, like I said, those power of attorneys are on a case-by-case basis, and they're very, very restrictive because if the power of attorney holder falls through, then the installation picks up the responsibility to collect up the vehicle, make the necessary arrangements, and have the vehicle destroyed. My suggestion to everybody is this: if you like your property, take care of your property and do it yourself before you leave, because not all power of attorneys that are left behind come out in a good, timely manner for everybody. Any questions? Thank you.
So with your car safely shipped, it's time to make sure your pets are taken care of. Starting off, we have Kathleen Howes, a travel agent from Vicenza CTO.
Hello, I'm Kathleen Howes from Sato Travel. Just want to talk to you a little bit about pet travel. It can be a little bit complicated. The best thing is to come to us as soon as you have your orders, and the first thing you tell us if you're traveling with a pet is that you're traveling with a pet. That helps us know right away which airlines we can use, etc. When we talk about pets traveling with you, we mean cats and dogs. The airlines don't accept any other kind of animals. They would have to be sent by cargo. Pets are not an entitlement. You are responsible for the payment of the pet travel. We put in the request, you're responsible for confirming the acceptance of the pet with the airline. We will need the type, so whether it's a dog or a cat, the breed, the age, the gender, the combined weight of the pet plus the kennel in pounds, and the size of the kennel in inches. If it's a mixed breed, we need to know what it looks like. We cannot say it's a mix, so whatever it looks like. For health certificates, pet passports, all that, you would talk with the veterinary clinic. Let's see. Yes, you need to make sure to be on time early at the airport. If you arrive last minute, that would be an issue. The credit card is the way you pay. There are a lot of rumors going around. If you're hearing stuff about pet travel, it's always best to ask us, because they're not always true. The people are coming in saying, well, I heard this and this and this, and that's not right. For example, some people are hearing that the pets cannot travel during the summer. That is waived for one-way government travel. You still have to watch out for the temperature requirements. You might need to be a bit flexible there, but some people have, that's wrong. Something else. I think that's just about it. Any questions? Always come, as soon as you get orders, don't wait, because we have to find space for the pets, and only certain airlines take them. So it is important. It's harder to get a pet on a flight than it is a person. So it's better to come right away.
Okay, thank you.
And we're glad to answer any questions you have. You can come by anytime.
And obviously, with all things, remain flexible. If you're traveling with a pet, they may have to get a little creative in your travel, in how they get you there and through what path and through what airline. So you won't be able to pick your particular flight if you're going with an animal, dog or a cat. So be flexible on that. And again, as always, first thing, when you got your orders, come to them so they can start making preparations at the Sato Travel office. Don't worry about all the rest of the stuff, so the leave form and all the rest. I'll start doing some preparations, give you your options, and that'll be the expert on how to travel. But now, how to get your pet prepared for travel, we have the vet clinic.
There you go. Before they get on the plane, the pet needs all their paperwork in order. Here to help us figure that out is Specialist Farron Lehman, from the Vicenza Veterinary Treatment Facility.
Good morning. My name is Specialist Lehman. Good morning. My name is Specialist Lehman. I'm the NCIC of the vet clinic located on Lingari. All right, so I'm just going to go over how to get the health certificate, which is required to travel with your pet. The health certificate as well as the pet passport. So the health certificate is a piece of paper which states your pet is healthy enough to travel, and it's good for 10 days. So once you find out your flight date, you need to contact us and we will schedule your health certificate appointment. We like to schedule it 4 to 6 days out from your flight date, just in case you have layovers or anything happens. So if you have to go off post to get your health certificate, it's a little more complicated. So we like that you come to us, to the Army veterinarian or the NAF veterinarian that we have on post. But if you're unable to do that, then you'd have to go off post to get an export document. In order to do that, just contact us and we'll explain the process to you. But you'll have to go to a place called the ULSS and pay an extra fee to do that. So next slide. The pet passport. So the pet passport, in order to get this, you'll need a 15-digit microchip, which most pets have once they come over to Italy if you brought them from the United States. But if you did not bring them from the United States, we can insert the microchip in the vet clinic with an appointment. Some pets have a 10-digit microchip at first. So we can do that there. And then once you have the 15-digit microchip and the rabies, we can get you the forms to get the pet passport, and then you'll have to go to a place called the ULSS and an Italian post office. And after you're done with that, you'll bring the pet passport back to us, and we will fill it out for you, and you'll be good to go. The pet passport is good for the lifetime of the pet, so we really recommend you get it right away when you come to Italy. You can get it ideally at any time if you're not traveling with your pet, but some people like to wait to the last minute when they're PCSing, and it can become a complicated process. So just get it as soon as possible, and we can help you with that. Just come into our office. The pet passport is €12.50 an animal. Next slide. So just like Sado Travel said, to go to them right away when you find out you're PCSing, because snub-nosed breeds, those boxers, those bulldogs, those are harder to travel with. So just keep that in mind when you're traveling. They are more expensive, and also those bully breeds, you'll have to ship those in cargo, and you'll need a custom box, so that costs a lot more. You'll have to pay to get that made, and a lot of spouses here know how to get that done, so it's good to reach out to see how to get those made when you're PCSing. So once you know you're PCSing, it's good just to start researching about, especially if you have the bully breeds, the stub-nosed breed dogs. Things to remember: if you are PCSing to Korea, Hawaii, Guam, those countries, it is harder to bring animals. It's not impossible, it's just a little more difficult just because they need more requirements. So just come to us, because it could be a 6 to 12 month process, more blood tests and such things. So we'll get you started with all that. I'm not going to go over each requirement because it's a long process. So remember, traveling with a pet is not free. The government does not cover the cost of PCSing with your pet, so prepare ahead of time. A lot of people find that crazy, but it's true. So thank you.
All right, so obviously the common theme so far today is plan early, plan as soon as you get your orders, and contact folks. Do we have an alibi there for the seat? Sado, Kathleen? Can you come to the microphone?
With the bully snub-nosed breeds, always come and ask us first, because sometimes they don't have to go cargo. Just always, any kind of pet, dog or cat, come and ask us first.
So 2 stops for all the pet owners and lovers out there, both the vet clinic and the Sado Travel. As soon as you get your orders, earlier is better. Okay, thanks.
It's important they're taken care of. Here to talk about the sponsorship program is ACS Director Julia Sibilla.
Yes, good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to talk to you today about making sponsorship better in our program, in our community, and it seems a little bit more simple than it is for pets, no microchipping involved. The sponsorship program in our community belongs to everyone, and I've asked our 2 task liaisons, the Total Army Sponsorship Liaisons, Sergeant Love and Staff Sergeant Johnson, to come here today so you can see them. They're located in Davis Hall. They're the first point of contact for incoming soldiers and outgoing soldiers and their families. They are there to help the community. They're working with the units and the unit sponsorship programs to improve the sponsorship program throughout the community. They are also going to provide sponsorship training for community members and leaders. So look for that, seek them out. They're there to help you. Nearby, we've just opened a spouse sponsorship office that will be run by volunteers. It's going to be a great way for us to support our spouses, both military and civilian. So my message to you today is, let's make sponsorship a community initiative. Sponsorship is a commander's program, but we can certainly support it and help each other. So the process for our community leaving and coming in is actually quite simple. And I'm
I'd like to show you a couple things, a couple ways for you to help out our community and make it better. So I'd like to show you this slide. This is a commander's brief that we do over at the Ederly Inn. We started it about 3 years ago. It's a way that we can welcome newcomers into Vicenza every other Tuesday, starting next Tuesday. Our garrison commander, the sergeant major, and other directorate chiefs, sometimes we get an appearance by other members of the community as well. And it's basically an informal way to learn about the community. So I'm asking you as community members, when you talk to folks who are coming in, perhaps as a formal sponsorship agreement or someone you know that's moving here, share this information. Encourage them to go to the Ederly Inn, 5 o'clock, every other Tuesday. No need to reserve. Just go listen to some great information about the community. You have an opportunity to ask questions, learn about the schools. So please help us get the word out on this. You meet a newcomer, hey, did you know that we have this opportunity? And then if we look at the next slide, there are just 10 things that what we do at ACS when we're contacted by folks that are coming in. We say, before you do anything, make sure that you read these 10 things so that you don't come here and say, oh, gee, I wish I'd known that, or I didn't have a sponsor, or my sponsor didn't tell me. So this is information that you can all help us get out there, whether you're engaging via email or on the phone, or you're talking to someone who's coming in here. Just the basics. We all live here, and we know that housing is different in Italy. There may be some restrictions on space, so we don't want people to bring baby grand pianos or the rider mower or big items that are going to cause them problems when they're on ground. Other basics, we have a really vibrant relocation program in ACS. You can stop by, you can ask us to send a welcome packet, you can ask us to give you digital flyers and other information that you can share to help. You can certainly go on the Plan My Move website and get great information for them. And then the other basics, making sure that they have all the proper paperwork, that they have an updated stateside license. These are all things that will facilitate their transition into the community. So I'd like to leave you with this. Sponsorship is a commander's program, but it's also a community initiative, and we can all work hard with the resources we have in place to welcome folks into our community and make the community better. Thank you.
All right. Okay, now on to another hot topic. DPW Director Robert Clark has some updates on the 2015 heating cooling transition and grounds maintenance plan.
Thank you, Aaron. And you stole my jokes, so I have to think of something else now. Appreciate the opportunity to brief you on a couple of things we're doing in the transition season while the weather is getting better. This is the time of year where between heating and cooling season, as good neighbors in our host nation of Italy, the Italian law has all heating across the country shut down starting 15 April. And we practice that as well. It's a good opportunity for us to take the time to realign the systems, do some maintenance, and save some money, is energy efficiency. And this is a time of the year, this in the fall, when the temperatures are moderate. And although there are some spot places where that might not be so, some buildings that we look at, I also want to thank my lovely wife Lauren for wearing a sweater today, just to reiterate my point that temperatures are moderate. So thank you, honey. And Anna Terracino for wearing a short sleeve shirt and looking like you're shivering. So thank you. But this is the time that we are going through the process of evaluating the temperatures. We look for 3 80-degree days in accordance with a locally tailored Department of Army and IMCOM Europe policy. We're the lucky ones in Europe. We're the only garrison in Europe that is authorized by IMCOM to have comfort air conditioning in addition to mission air conditioning for computer facilities and places like that. So we do monitor the temperatures, and if there are some exceptional places where we may not be seeing through the energy monitoring control system, the EMCS systems, that we have 80-degree days, or there's some special events with the unit. Just an example, we had the Mission Training Center yesterday, looked at it, and there's a special event. They have a lot of computers, and we charged up their AC early. So,
and I just want to highlight that the appropriate way to identify that your particular facility needs air conditioning early is not to come directly to me or necessarily file an ICE complaint. There is a process for it.
Yes, sir.
And so, Bob, if you could go over that process as well to save me a few emails.
Great.
And on-the-spot conversations.
So again, getting to the bottom line of the slide really is if you have exceptions or you have issues that you think need to be addressed, we try to keep the ventilation in the systems charged so that the fans are running, even if the fans are not blowing hot, heated, or chilled air. It's still ventilation. So if you think the fans aren't working, if you have issues with getting windows and doors open, because we'd like you to utilize natural ventilation through this time of the year, please call the service desk at 637-8100, and they can take in any exceptional requests for service for a mission reason, a life, health, safety reason, et cetera. So, next slide. So when we do trigger the startup, again, the service desk will know, and we'll try to publish it on the website. This is the priorities that we put. Excuse me, there's a slide. I thought there was a slide that showed the priorities, but generally it follows life, health, safety, and mission facilities, and then it goes to barracks, and then comfort air conditioning for community facilities and administrative buildings last. And the one last thing is for emergency call-outs after hours. If you have an issue, try to deal with it between 8 and 5. Loss of air conditioning, sometimes we get these for quarters as well, is not one of those things we're authorized to do on-call service nights or weekends. So, all right. Okay, the next topic on grounds maintenance. Similarly, long...
You got all the fun ones today, Bob.
Yes, sir. It's all good news. Longer days and more sunlight, a little bit more rain. We're getting to see grounds really take off, lawns, gardens, and weeds, unfortunately, too. I want to just say that we have a maintenance program where DPW takes care of the exterior perimeter for ATFP and the common areas of all the sites. And we have units that have military assigned areas around their barracks and their operational facilities. And housing residents are responsible for their yards in the government housing, but this also includes leased housing. Generally, the government leased housing, the terms are that the resident has to be responsible for it, but even the private leased houses for the civilians or some military that are in private leases, generally the terms are that the resident is responsible for the grounds. If you have an exception, you may know it, but know your lease if you have a private lease. And if you have any questions about your lease and housing, Mr. Lou Smith, the housing chief, is here in the room. And we can either take a question or we can take a question at the housing office anytime if there's an ambiguity. So I'd like to go to the next slide and show, these are just a couple of maps when we talk about what do we do. The green here on Caserma Ederle shows what we in DPW do to maintain the common areas. And the yellow around the ball fields is MWR. You can see the Ederle Inn in purple, also MWR, but a different part of MWR. And then we have the units with military, to include the garrison. HHC has all the area around Building 109, and the ACS building, the Ed Center, and then the 173rd, it just goes on from there, shows in different colors the different military units. Next slide. Similarly, delved in, same color scheme. You can see what we in DPW do with our in-house workforce, the perimeters and some of the common areas, and a large bulk of it there is the 173rd. And the next slide. This Villaggio. The one thing that's different in Villaggio is it's still DPW, but through the housing office and a different appropriation. The contract that maintains the common areas in blue, but the white areas there at Villaggio are maintained by the residents. And between Mr. Smith and he's got Sergeant First Class Anthony James, they can clarify any of the delineation of properties between residents and the total maintenance contract that we do through the Army Family Housing appropriation. The one thing I would say is that I understand that both Sergeant Major Dennison and Sergeant Major Stitzel are not satisfied with the amount of exercise they get by mowing their lawn, although it's a little larger than some. So if there are issues or trouble with someone's deployed or someone's traveling, I think they're taking requests for extra exercise.
It's expensive.
So, no, really, unit stewardship, just we could say if we know what our responsibilities are, to do that either at the unit level or at the individual level. And again, if there are any questions about what kind of grounds may not be maintained properly, 637-8100 is the DPW service desk, and we can take any requests for clarification, or through the housing office if you're a housing resident. Thank you.
All right, and I encourage everyone to always do their part, not only on lawn maintenance, but also in general cleanliness. You see trash, pick it up. We're a small enough community that individual acts can make a big difference for all of us. And if we all conduct those individual acts, it will change the entire appearance of the post. So encourage you all to do that. All the NCOs out there, I'm sure even more energized about that than I am, but individual responsibility as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The hot topics continue now with Anna Aragon from the Safety Office on staying safe as temperatures rise.
Hello, good morning. I'm Anna Aragon. I'm one of the safety specialists here in the community. And actually, the Army Spring and Summer Safety Campaign already started. It started last month, and it's going to be running through September 8th. So with the good weather, lots of things are happening. I know that cycling, bicycling is a popular activity here in Italy. That, along with swimming, we have large bodies of water, plenty of beaches, lakes out there. It's going to be hotter out there. People are going to be staying hydrated, doing a little hiking, all sorts of outdoor activities, including festas, 4th of July, MWR that we have, event that we have coming up. Anyways, so the season is changing. We have people moving around. We have longer days. And so, unfortunately, statistically, this increases Army accidents. And so far, within the last month, unfortunately, the Army has experienced already 6 fatalities, 2 motorcycle accidents, 2 pedestrian fatalities, 1 vehicle accident, and 1 drowning. So with that said, have a plan. Again, the weather is going to be better. We're going to be engaging in motorcycle activities, road trips, water activities. So it is incumbent upon leaders at all levels to be equipped to be making smart decisions. Extended holidays, again, we have those 4-day weekends, those training holidays, and PCS season. So no matter what activities that you're engaging in, whether you're going on a trip, whether maybe you're grilling, having an activity, if you have any questions or you need any resources, we have plenty of those at the safety office. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anna. So I'm going to, before we get into the really fun stuff with FMWR, I'm going to do a little impromptu one. So as we don't notice because we're sitting in the room right here, but when you exit the building today, you may notice a few changes outside in the garrison. In fact, U.S. Army garrison wide in all of Italy. We're going through our annual full-scale exercise called Lion Response, and it started this morning. Well, it's actually started last week with some preparatory messages, and then this morning we got some exercise level information that led us to a higher FPCon. So we have gone to exercise FPCon Charlie, so you'll see some of the barriers moving around. You'll see some additional checks at the gate. You'll see some of our troop diversion coming from the 173rd out and about patrolling the fence lines and other areas onside the base. So don't be concerned or alarmed about that. That's just part of our exercise to make sure we are fully prepared to react to any either raise in threat level or an actual event. Now, tomorrow we will see a few things differently. So, Major Mumphrey, are you in here? Okay, earmuffs for you, please. Okay, so tomorrow morning, around about 8:30, when everyone's coming into work, there's going to be some activity going on. Specifically around the teen center, around the Ederle pool, and along the back gate along the where the SJA is. So there'll be role players there, there'll be smoke there, there'll be Italian ambulances and Italian aid workers, there'll be our own fire department, lots of sirens, noise. Keep your earmuffs on, please. Don't want to give away the answers to the test. Don't be alarmed if you see all that going on, and try not to get in the way of the exercise, but if you want to role play a little bit, keep it reasonable. They got enough issues already that we're throwing at them through the exercise. We don't need additional impromptu events going into that. So, but it's good exercise, and it'll all be done probably tomorrow by about 1400 or so, and then we'll return to normal operations. So what does that mean? What can you do to help us with that? Try to limit your movement on and off post as much as possible. So today and tomorrow are not good days to go off post for lunch and then come back on post and then go off post to get your watch fixed and then come back on post and then to go off post. One, that's a lot of uniform changing, so you don't want to do that anyway. That was a little reminder. But also, it's just going to be tougher to make it tougher at the gate. So limit your movement in and out as much as possible. Maintain your patience and your flexibility, and know that it's to make us a better and safer community. So thank you for that. Okay, Chris, on to you.
Thank you. I need everybody's help here. I need everybody to stop being so serious for just a few minutes. If you guys could see your faces, you would smile right now. So smile for me. Next slide, please. Just to highlight a couple of events coming up over the next few weeks. We have a couple of 5K runs. On the 9th of May, this Saturday, we have what's being called the Del Din Double-Decker Endurance Challenge. It was named that way just to see if I could pronounce it, but also because they're taking advantage of the two nice big parking garages there. So the 5K run will include running up the steps of both parking garages there on Del Din. Should be lots of fun. Starts at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Also not on the slide, in case anybody has forgotten, Sunday is what day? Mother's Day. Oh, good. Everyone passes. And there's lots of events going on Mother's Day, but I want to highlight the one that's happening right here in this building, the arena. It's free bowling with shoe rental for mothers. So I'm sure that everybody who is a mother, who has a mother, knows that that's what every mother wants to do. So don't forget, free bowling here at the arena on Mother's Day for mothers. And the other 5K run is one that is really been popular last year to kind of memorialize those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice. We want to have a run to honor. It's May 15th here on Ederly. Starts very early in the morning, registration at 5:45. Run starts at 6:45. That one you want to make sure you get a shirt for. Be one of the first ones to register. It's great to remember what the run that you were in. The cost of the shirt is $10. Also on the slide, as you can see, we're having a flea market coming up on May 16th, and there's still some spaces available. So there'll be the parking spaces right in front of the library. This is by popular demand. A lot of people have yard sales online and other things, but there's nothing that can beat getting ready to PCS, as this is the theme for this, to be able to sell some of your used to be treasures, now somebody else's treasure at the flea market there. And everybody know who Hunter Hayes is? Yes? All right. I'm excited that Sergeant Love knows who Hunter Hayes is, because he's the audience that we're trying to reach. And we've got really excited to have the People's Choice 2015 People's Choice Award winner for favorite country singer, Hunter Hayes. And we've got a lot of buzz going about this. The USO is bringing us Hunter Hayes on May 19th, and we're going to do it outside on the track there because we're going to have such a good crowd. Another thing that's not on the slide is May 14th. There's a parent advisory group in the ACS conference room at 12 o'clock. This is a group where all parents can come together and learn about all the activities coming up over the summer, but also provide feedback. And we have a special guest who will be at that special parent advisory group on the 14th of May. So please join us for that if you have children. Yes, you're the special guest. You're the special guest, sir. It is. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, at this point in our program, we go across the table for additional community announcements from our service providers.
You should have. I always have something for the group, right? So Colonel Barr, Health Center Commander. Just to follow up on the briefing I gave last month to remind everyone that we are in the middle of our access challenges for healthcare for the health center. We'll have an Outlook article here in the next week or two further outlining the constraints that we have, but just wanted to talk through a few of those right now. Our primary care clinic is in the midst of their underlap due to staffing and summer underlap. We should be out of that by about June timeframe and then kind of back up to full service. Behavioral health from a prescriber perspective, not from a counseling or therapist perspective, that's going to hit us in June and last through August. Unfortunately, there's no mitigation plan for the primary care, and we're going to do that internally from support from Launchstool's perspective. For the behavioral health backfill, we are going to have some help from Launchstool, we think, from the June to August timeframe. More details to be coming on that. So some of the things that we're looking at doing right now is, again, we've already looked at vacation scheduling, we've looked at access for the providers that we do have, and have maximized the access that we have daily. We're also looking at relooking some of our training to make sure that we're continuing to do Army required training with some of the other things that we do internal to the clinic, putting those off for the summer to increase access on Thursday mornings. And so more to follow on that in the article that I mentioned. Also, as I previously mentioned, certain wellness appointments such as female wellness that we can put off for a few months safely, but refill medications for our female patients so that we don't have any lapse in birth control, things like that. Those are things that if you just contact your PCM through a telephone consult or Relay Health, we can get that squared away for you and then make that up on the back end or utilize our network as appropriately. Do want to give another plug for Relay Health. Many of you that have come into the clinic here in the last few months have been engaged on that. The way that works, it's absolutely fantastic. It's a secure email system between you and your PCM team to be able to address questions, ask for refills on medications, get lab results, radiology results, things like that, so that from a convenience perspective, you don't have to come back into the clinic to get that addressed, but at the same time, that allows us to save limited appointments for folks that have more acute and pressing issues on a daily basis. The way that works, again, you sign up for it, we send you an email, and then you respond to that email to validate that, and then you're in the system and can start using that. So highly encourage everyone to return those emails to us so that we can get you enrolled in that process. Again, TRICARE Online is a fantastic way to make appointments. Again, during the appointment shortage that we have, you may notice when you go online that there's not anything available. So again, try to use that system, and that will be back up fully functioning later in the summer. Did want to announce 2 dates, 21 and 28 May for school physicals, and that will continue throughout the summer. That will be, excuse me, again, put out in public the dates, but if you have needs for school physicals, camp physicals, sports physicals, those kinds of things, again, just call the clinic and we'll get you scheduled on one of those days that we've got reserved for that. I believe the 21st is relatively full, but we do still have availability on the 28th, and again, we'll have more of those in the future. So bottom line with all of this, we are here for your healthcare needs. If you have concerns or are having issues getting access or getting the appointments that you need, please call us, let us know about that, and obviously we will find a solution for you, but appreciate your ongoing patience as we have some unavoidable underlaps in the clinic. Pending your questions, thank you very much.
I'd just like to remind the community that this Friday is our annual volunteer recognition ceremony / luncheon. Last year, our community volunteers saved the Army approximately $1.7 million. So we think they deserve a lunch and a little recognition. If you are a community volunteer and you have not been invited, please see me afterwards or come over to Davis Hall and talk to Yvonne Lively.
Go ahead. In addition, I do have a flyer by the coffee and cakes that you can take. It basically reverberates some of the information that I have covered, but it goes a little bit more detail. Please pick up a copy of one of those flyers and share it with others so we can get the information out about transportation, ensuring that you have your order, when you receive your orders, that you contact us as soon as possible. Thank you.
All right, this time we open up the microphone for any community announcements from the audience. We ask today that each individual sign up on the announcement list at the back of the room. This will assist AFN and us in further broadcasting your 30-second announcements. When it's your turn, please come to the microphone and introduce yourself and your organization. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Cindy. I'm the manager over at the PX, and we talked about shipping your pet, but before you do, this weekend on Saturday, we've got the Patriot Pet event. So from 11:30 to 13:30 will be the actual pet show. From 9 to 1600, we have a bazaar set up. Inside the main store, there's going to be a camera demo, some special sales, and also a coloring event for the children. So we look forward to seeing everybody there this weekend. Thank you.
Lieutenant Newell, 173rd BSB. I'll be the assistant OIC for the 9th annual Running of the Herd event this year. This year will be a 12-hour race event instead of a 24. It will start 8 July at 17:30 and end on 9 July at 06. That will be around Caserma Del Din. The registration will start this Friday, 8 May, and end 5 June. The fees are $100 for a 7-man team and $20 for individual. All runners will receive a race kit with a Running the Herd t-shirt, and any questions can be emailed to runningoftheherd2015@gmail.com.
Good morning, I'm Dan Sachs. I'm the Senior Vice Commander for Post 8862, the Veterans of Foreign Wars. And Post 8862 will be conducting its annual or semi-annual Poppy Drive this Memorial Day weekend on 22 and 23 May from 8:30 to 16:30 in front of the Post Exchange here on Ederly. This Poppy Drive is conducted on Veterans Day weekend and Memorial Day weekend to honor those who have fallen in service to our nation. And this Poppy signifies, goes back to the renowned World War I poem, "In Flanders Field, the poppies blow." And so we encourage all of you to wear a poppy this Memorial Day weekend. And any donations that are made during this drive are used to support and honor wounded warriors, disabled veterans, and our fallen. The VFW will also, in this light, travel to the Florence American Cemetery to participate in the wreath-laying ceremony on Memorial Day. So we thank you, and we encourage you all to wear a poppy this Memorial Day. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Scott McIntosh from the OIC of the Vicenza Tax Center. For most stateside taxpayers, April 15th marked the end of tax season. But for those of us overseas, just want to remind people you have an automatic 2-month extension to file your 2014 taxes. So your due date for your 2014 taxes is June 15th instead of April 15th. To facilitate filing during that extension period, the Vicenza Tax Center and Del Din Tax Center remain open through June 15th. Our hours are 09 to 1600, inclusive of lunch, 5 days a week here on Ederly, Monday, Wednesday, Friday on Del Din and the Sig Holt Center. In addition to preparing your 2014 taxes, I want to mention this is also the time of year that individuals often receive tax notices from either the IRS or from a state taxing authority. I had a client who came in the other day with a $8,000 tax bill from the IRS. She left 30 minutes later, due a $1,000 refund instead of having to pay $8,000. So if you get those sorts of notices, don't automatically pay it. Come and see myself, Ms. Lee, who was recognized in abstention earlier, one of the other fantastic members of our team. We'll take a look at the notice, review your return, figure out, usually those notices are just computer calculations based on data the IRS got. They often miss things that an individual can catch. And so we can make that sort of review for you, prepare any sort of amendment or memo that the IRS might need in order to process any refund or balance due appropriately, and ensure that you're not stuck with a bigger bill than you're required to pay. So again, open through June 15th. Encourage you to take advantage of those services. Thanks.
Captain McIntosh, I'm looking for you this afternoon. That's good stuff. Peter Ferris, Garrison Chaplain, Pro Deo et Patria. Great day to serve God and country. 2 events for you coming up in May 23rd. Gospel-sponsored Friends and Family Day. Kind of think of a contemporary church picnic, basically open to the community on Hoekstra Field from 1430 to 1800. Games for the kids, food. Good time to be had by all, for sure. Sponsored by the Gospel Congregation. And then the week of July 27 to 31 is our community-wide Vacation Bible School program. And we're certainly still looking for volunteers. And we look forward to good involvement from the community on that end. So just want to remind you of those 2 key events coming up. Thank you.
Okay, we now turn the floor over to Colonel Menace for the open forum portion of the InfoX. Sir?
Okay, the internet has been a little quiet today. I have had no questions so far, so I don't know that that means everyone is caught at the gate trying to get in with our FPCon measures, or we've somehow locked down the Facebook. So if you have any questions online, please submit them now so it has time to come in. But I will open the questions to the floor at this time if anyone has anything. Okay, all right, go for it.
Sir, could you use the microphone, please?
Is it for you or for Ms. Lee? Oh, okay.
So this is a question about summer vehicle safety inspection checks. I think a lot of folks experience the influx of people because it's an annual check. Everybody PCS in the summer also gets it re-inspected, and I think folks that asked me to ask the question had seen some increases in the wait time or lack of availability for those appointments during the day. Just curious about summer plans for addressing that increase in demand.
Okay, great question. Is LRC here? Anyone from 405th? I saw them earlier. Oh, they snuck out before the question got asked.
For the inspections or?
Yes, the safety inspection.
They think the vehicle inspections?
Vehicle inspection.
Ma'am, could,
Good morning. My name is Rita Newbell, right? I'm the Installation Transportation Officer. As far as the inspections for the vehicle safety inspections, the vehicle safety office, well, the inspections will be open during lunch hours also to accommodate the overflow of the inspections. And we're looking at increasing the hours to stay open a little longer later in the afternoon to cover the inspections during the summer season.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Jeff Schott briefed me that we had one additional inspector hired. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, so we have one additional person than we had from last year's summertime. So one person doesn't seem necessarily like a lot, but that's 30, it's 50% more than they used to have, because they used to have 2, so now they have 3.
Yes.
The other point is just really is looking at what times you're going. If Monday, after it was closed on Friday, huge backlog, 9 o'clock this morning, no cars in line. So there was a huge backlog on Monday, wide open today. So it's really when you go. So pay attention to those numbers.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions from the group? You never know what happens on live TV. It's amazing. Okay, Sergeant Major Dennison, anything for the group?
Just a couple notes. One about sponsorship. First, Sergeant Johnson, Sergeant Love, go ahead and stand up, face the. These are the Total Armory sponsorship, NCOIC and NCO for the garrison, just so everybody can put a face to it. All right. Thanks, guys. The second thing about sponsorship, it is a commander program. However, it's a community responsibility to make sure that we bring all the new incoming soldiers and families into the community the right way. So if, obviously if they're in the ACS and they say, hey, we're new here, greet them, shake their hand, make sure they're brought into the community the right way. All right. You heard Mr. Clark talk about the maintenance, the ground maintenance. Every single building that's on this installation, either here, Delden, wherever you might have a building, if you are the unit that is responsible for that building, you're ultimately responsible for the grounds, surrounding about 50-foot spacing around that. Obviously, if you don't have soldiers and the means to cut the grass, then that's where Bob Clark and DPW sort of take over. But we got to know about that. All right. But first and foremost, if you own the building, if you are the entity, the sole provider for that building, you own the grounds around it, a 50-foot buffer. And if you need to reference that, it's in the First Sergeant's Barracks Program 2020. And if you need that manual, I'll send it to you. Just shoot me a line. I'll even highlight exactly where it says that in that manual. Okay. So line response, we got this big exercise going on. And a lot of you might have a question about what is your part for line response as the larger part of the community. Your part really is to stay alert, report anything that's out of the norm. And if you have a question about what you see that's going on out there, by all means, bring it up. You can bring it to DES, you can bring it to the garrison, you can bring it to the DPTMS downstairs. We'll be able to answer. The AT and FP guys. But like I said, your part is stay alert, understand your surroundings and what you actually live in. Not just because it's an exercise, but because of the real world situation that we could find ourselves in at any given time. All right, so stay alert, know your surroundings, report anything that you might see that's out of the norm. That's all I got, sir.
Yeah, just 2 comments real quick.
Thanks to all the volunteers. We see them every InfoX and award them with a certificate, but Friday's really the big day when we really say thank you. And it is important. That's what really gets this community to survive and does a great job. Second is, earlier we started off with the Asian Pacific month that we started. That is not just an example to say, hey, just for this month. As you remember, last month was Sharp Month. It's not just the 1 month that we worry about or we think about it. It needs to be something that we continue on through our life, treating people with dignity and respect. So I just ask that even though as Sharp is over and we've moved on to another month, that we remember it's about doing these things all year long. So that's all I have, sir. Thanks.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate everybody's hard work. Sergeant Major took what I was going to lead with, and that was the Sharp comment. Many of you all just double tapped that a little bit. We had a community-wide conference last month, and I thought it was a real good start. We raised awareness within the community, within the 173rd, within United States Army Africa, and the other tenants here, Rob and Mike Foster and the team. I appreciate you being there. But as Sergeant Major said, it's about every day. It's today. It's when you go home. It's when you leave here. Do we create the conditions in Vicenza where we treat everybody with dignity and respect? So I would ask you, I'm not getting choked up, that's the allergies here. I would ask that you continue to do that, and it's not about April, it's not about a day or month, it's about what we do all the time. I will tell you, we export that, my Sergeant Major and I, on the continent of Africa, we travel. I just came back from the Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo. We were in Kinshasa and Goma, and big country, one country the size of all of Western Europe. And we talk about a lot of those sorts of things, Army sergeants, civilians, officers, and others being role models for our African brothers and sisters as we partner with them. So it's a big deal. It's something that we do here, home game, but we also export away when we travel on the continent. So thanks for mentioning that, Sergeant Major. Thanks to the community, Rob and Sergeant Major. You all do a great job here with the leaders that are up here on the stage. United States Army Africa, 173rd, others, our ability to bring that resilience, to bring that leadership example on the continent, whether it be Mike Foster, who's sort of focused to the east with the 173rd Gang, or USARAF as we focus south. I just came back from Italy yesterday. I was talking to the ambassador there, and as you know, the Italians are very concerned. Our hosts here are very concerned about things that are going on in Libya. You can pick up the paper and see that. And I will tell you that my boss, General Rodriguez, and General Hodges, who's Rob's boss, just north of the Alps here, we're all concerned about the, so the mention earlier about, that Sergeant Major mentioned about being careful and be vigilant. You need to be careful and you need to be vigilant. And that's really all I can say here on open mic. But continue to watch each other and take care of each other. So thanks for what you do every single day, whatever your community, whether it be the principal here in the schoolhouse or all the things that were mentioned. It's very, very important to a young Army sergeant, soldier, and a wife when they're coming back from these deployments. You know, I think someone mentioned this, and, you know, Sergeant Johnson Love can probably talk about this in better detail, but, you know, when you have a 12 or 15-month deployment, you sort of get ready for that, and you know about that. But these are very episodic. It's probably causing a lot of stress, you know, down below, but, you know, they're doing it on our nation's behalf. The folks are here. I mean, we work for the Chief of Staff of the Army and our nation. You should be very proud, all of you all, of what this community does and engenders and manufactures and produces and projects on the continent, two continents really, every single day. Okay, so you should be very, I know it's hard for many of you all. You don't get to travel like we do and see some of these things, but you're making a difference. And that's why these programs are very important, that folks come back and they have a safe place to come back to, and their spouses are being taken care of, or their significant, you know, whoever their family members are being taken care of while they're deployed and when they come back. The NCOIC Special Layman, good job of tying in Asian American Pacific Islander with Japan, Hawaii, Guam, and Korea in terms of the places to have a 6 to 12 month lead time. You did that on purpose, right? You didn't do that? And then finally, safety. Anna, you talked about it. It's a big deal. This is a period of transition. What you heard here was transition, start early. You know, Rob mentioned it, Colonel Menace. Safety is a big deal as we go back and forth to the continent, as we go back and forth to the Ukraine. As you go, many of you all will probably, how many of you all are going to take vacation in the United States this summer? Right, some of you will, right, a few of you. And then over the, you know, as we transition, as you fire up the barbecue, as you get on the water, as you get in your vehicle, what I find, having been a commander at every level in the Army so far, is that usually folks get in trouble when they overextend, they put too much on the plate, you know, try to get a little bit more hour of, you know, we got a 10-hour day, you know, there's more sunshine, there's more light, we can go a little bit further, and maybe you overextend, and I think Anna mentioned it, have a plan. So have a plan, don't overextend yourself. I tell you, I was wire brushing my son as he drove from Fort Sill, Oklahoma over to, he's in jump school now in Fort Benning. I said, dude, you better be stopping every few hours, you know, take a break, you know, and those sorts of things. And that's the sort of stuff that Sergeant Major talked about. Take care of each other and look out. So I'm very proud to be in this community. I'm coming up on a year here, and my team that works for me, they realize I've just got started. I think I need about 5 more years to do this right. Took me a while to kind of work my way around the continent, but you're making a difference to our nation every single day. And I know a lot of you all can't see that. I see these soldiers and these civilians in tough places. You know, whether it be Liberia when we were combating Ebola, partnering with our armed forces of Liberia, or Central Accord, which will start next week in the great country of Gabon, where we're bringing all the countries in Central Africa together to foster their ability to protect themselves. Many of you may know, Central Africa, there's a lot of folks that are running around in there that are trying to get up here on this continent. And so the folks' ability to protect themselves, it's a big deal. And then, as I mentioned, the maroon-wearing folks here that bring us so much pride, thanks for what you do every single day. You're making a big difference. And it's noticed by our nation and by the chairman and others. So thanks. Rob, over to you.
This will be Wednesday, June 3rd at 10:30 a.m. here in the arena. Materials shown at this InfoX can be found on the Garrison homepage under the InfoX tab at the top of the page. The entire InfoX will also be posted to the AFN Vicenza YouTube channel. Colonel Minister, over to you for closing remarks.
Okay, thank you all. A lot of great information today. Theme of it obviously was be prepared, start early, be observant, look out for each other, and do your part. Each individual act makes a difference. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next month.